we currently have a library technology industry that is, I want to say, deeply consolidated, but within certain parameters. We're certainly not seeing monopolies in any sector, but we're seeing a lot of consolidation. And it's not unlike what I read in other industries, where you see the telcos consolidating, you see movie studios and other tech companies. Consolidation seems to be the way of the world. And what I look for within the technology industry is there enough competition so that if you're looking for a system, there's kind of at least 2 or 3 to choose from. You're not going to have 10 to choose from, but hopefully you have 2 or 3 strong competitors as you look for new systems. And I think we're mostly still in that territory. And again, I'll develop the thought a little bit more as we go through the presentation, that in fact there may be more competition now, more interesting competition that there have been in previous times. But there are 2 kind of levels of consolidation that I want to highlight. One is where a library technology company has acquired other library technology companies, become a bigger library technology company, what I call horizontal consolidation. And the classic example of that is Circe Dynix. So I'll show you its organizational chart in a minute, Biblioteca, where it's a bit different from this vertical consolidation, where you look at a large library services company, not just technology, but a company oriented to libraries that sells content, other kinds of services and workflow tools, and now technology. So you see that especially in ProQuest. It's kind of the classic version of that now. You see bits of that in EBSCO. You see a lot of that in Follett. So you have these, very large companies, upwards to $1 billion, $2 or $3 billion companies that now have kind of, ownership of some of the technology companies that have previously stood on their own. So one of the things I ask myself, when I learn about a merger and acquisition is kind of how does this impact the libraries that are using that company's product if that company got acquired? It's kind of, to put it in another way, kind of stewardship, that, this product will be managed and cared for by a new set of owners, a new company, and how well positioned are they to do that in a way that's going to have a positive impact on libraries, or at least not have a negative impact. So a lot of that has to do with strategy and resources available. Think about why a lot of these companies got acquired is that, they were not necessarily not profitable. I think there's been very few cases where companies in the industry have been in serious financial decline or in danger of any kind of, problem. But, are they in a, being acquired usually means that, they could be strengthened by becoming part of another organization, getting new investors, getting new owners. There are different kinds of ownership arrangements, some that are almost by definition permanent, some that are almost by definition temporary. Private equity ownership, for example, is almost always temporary, somewhere between 5 and 10 years of ownership, and then they're ready to hand it off to someone else. So when you look at companies like ProQuest, whose slide has been there for a second, you can see that it's a large company with a lot of previous acquisitions, a very interesting family tree, going back to the microfilm days with UMI, but kind of building into that a lot of other content and technology organizations and products that have come into that company. And while we're looking here, my convention when I kind of built these organizational visualizations is that I tend to put content related assets on below it and then technology oriented ones on top. And that kind of applies to several of these that I'll show you. And it kind of helps you think about this kind of synergy between technology and content that's emerging out of a lot of these recent acquisitions into these kind of companies.